What simple mistake has ended lives? I read an article a long time ago about an aircraft maintenance worker not removing a piece of tape that was put in place to protect a sensor during cleaning. The pilot failed to notice during the pre-flight inspection. More than 100 people died in the plane crash. Archduke Franz Ferdinand's driver making a wrong right turn down a side street. Leaving the stranded vehicle on the road in winter and trying to walk to get help. It happens in rural parts of our province once or twice a year and they find the body a few days later. They get disoriented and freeze. I grew up in Minnesota, and when I got my first car, during the winter, my dad told me unless you can see the lights of a building, don't get out of the car. Nodak winters. No car left our driveway without 40 pounds of kitty litter, 2 gallons of water, toilet paper, space blankets, candles, flashlight, and enough Snickers bars to keep you from dying. It was the 90s, we weren't perfect. The two things I learned first when driving, growing up in Wisconsin. What does a car feel like when it loses traction? Don't get out of the car in winter unless you can see your destination. I got blown off a road in high winds. Heavy drifting. Less than a mile from a friend's house after I had turned around. Drifts made it impossible to complete the trip. Trying to run a mile in full blizzard conditions was a fight for my life as an in-shape 24-year-old male athlete. Baby in the backseat. I'm in childcare and I'll do some insane things to remember there's a baby back there. Take my shoes off, put my phone back there, dirty diaper as a reminder. People forget. It doesn't matter if you're a mom, nanny, father, nurse, firefighter. It happens. And yet there's always someone who says, I'd never forget my baby, and every year babies die because of it. That all heart attacks have the exact same symptoms. They don't. Trust yourself and seek help ASAP if you are afraid that you're having a heart attack. Mixing cleaning ingredients. My dad was trying to unclog his kitchen drain and mixed drain cleaners by adding one then adding another a few minutes later. It started bubbling and he began coughing intensely. I heard him coughing from the other room, saw what happened, and opened the nearby window to get rid of the chlorine gas he just produced. I forgot there was a large hive of wasps that had moved into that window and they did not appreciate this unexpected interruption. I took him to the emergency room for the gas exposure and it was tough explaining that the wasp stings were not why we were there. The Goiânia accident. Less than Kyle Hill video on the incident. A court in Brazil had been made aware that there was an unsecured source of radiation in a condemned cancer treatment clinic due to be torn down, but did not let anyone safely remove it. A scrap collector went into the building, found the radiation source, broke it open, and found glowing blue powder inside. No one knew it was extremely radioactive cesium powder and the glowing blue light emitted by the powder was beautiful. It was spread around much of the local city before reports of widespread radiation sickness prompted government emergency action. Multiple people died of radiation poisoning, including one 6-year-old girl. As an additional butthole clencher, the fire department very nearly threw the bag holding the remaining powder into the local river. Not having a carbon monoxide detector. Long ago I was on the crew of a submarine older than me. We went into the shipyard. One of the planned jobs was to install some new equipment that required a hull penetration. One Friday afternoon a shipyard worker drilled a 1/8-inch pilot hole through the hull, intending to come back on Monday to finish the job. The job got cancelled, he got reassigned, and the hole remained. It was covered with duct tape to keep dirt out. The painters went ahead and sprayed over the tape. How deep can a piece of duct tape paint hold on a dive? About 218 feet. Before you ask, yes, we survived. Oh, phew, I thought you died. I did, but I got better. Mao's idea to get rid of sparrows. In short, China's great leader Mao had calculated that sparrows eat grain and if China got rid of them, they would have more food. So they did indeed decimate the sparrow population. They did not consider that sparrows eat lots of insects as well, which started to thrive, including locusts. The locusts ate the grain. Famine, between 16 and 30 million people died. When he recognized his mistake, he asked the Soviet Union for help and they secretly shipped sparrows to China. This is a bit a stretch though. Lots of factors led to the famine, lots of mistakes were made. But of all of them, This was probably the most obviously stupid one. Not wearing a seatbelt. A friend's husband locked himself out of their home. He tried to get in through a window that had security bars. While squeezing through, his foot slipped and he essentially hung himself on the window sill. Pulling the knife out of someone. Respected cardiothoracic surgeon tells a guy to stop smoking right outside the hospital doors. Guy turns around and punches him a single time in the head. King hit, or coward punched. Whatever you want to call it. He falls to the floor and hits his head a second time. On life support for 4 weeks. Nothing left to save. Link. People underestimate how easy it is to kill someone, even accidentally. Always treat a gun like it's loaded. Not being honest with doctors about Viagra. It has many dangerous drug interactions and can cause a lot of problems from what I've heard. Trust me, the doctor ain't gonna judge you guys. They have seen much more embarrassing things. And it would suck to die because you wanted to hide something just for it to be later stated in your death certificate. Not being honest with doctors. You could stop there. Seriously. Tell doctors everything, even that thing you think means nothing. Tell the cops nothing. Tell lawyers and doctors everything. I worked at a tire place for a summer and the first thing they told me was, see that torque wrench, one mistake with this and you can kill a whole family in a matter of seconds. I thought, well, better take this thing seriously. Man, for a second I was thinking, fuck, you'd have to swing that thing around fast to take out an entire family, and just bluescreened on the idea of changing a tire. There have been too many instances of rock climbers rappelling off of the ends of their ropes, which could have been easily avoided by tying stopper knots at the ends of their ropes. Ignoring signs when cave diving. Bitch, they put a Grim Reaper on it. Turn around. Edit. Actually, cave diving to begin with. Fucking crazy people. Bunch of guys were working on a LNG line, and when they cut over to the new line, the pressure regulator sensors were still on the old, disconnected, line. So the system automatically started to boost the pressure up as it was sensing low pressure into the LNG lines, while the sensors continues to be on a completely isolated system, causing multiple houses to basically explode due to unexpected high pressure in the system. All thanks to some idiot town council wanting to save money by not having the proper professionals work on the system. Link. There's a super famous example which got made into a film eventually, I think, called Open Water, but the original story was a yacht was found sailing adrift with a baby aboard and no crew anywhere to be seen. No signs of panic were found. The baby was dehydrated but otherwise fine. Eventually it was assumed that whilst at sea they went for a swim. The sides of yachts stick out of water quite high in place, but on most boats the stern is lowered so you can climb into and out of the yacht from a tender, small dinghy. This yacht was different and had a ladder lowered from the back. This was either up or missing. But they couldn't get back on the boat and eventually drowned or were attacked by predators. Now I never jump in without thinking about this. Because you can't ever guarantee the person behind won't do the same. Imagine trying everything to get back to your screaming baby mere feet away and just being out of reach. It'd get dark. The wind might pick up and carry the boat away. Those final moment would be agony from such a simple mistake. Edit. I tried to look up the original news article and discovered it happens fairly frequently. Sometimes under different scenarios like this one. Link. NASA executives overriding engineers on the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. I feel really bad for Bob Ebeling, an engineer at Thiokol who had PTSD for the rest of his life because he did everything he could to stop the launch and nobody listened to him. The impact of a quick fix for motor vehicle engine knocking in 1921. Link. The true death toll is too difficult to extrapolate, but it really did a number on humanity. It led to all kinds of problems, including increased crime rates due to neurological toxicity. A statistically significant correlation has been found between the usage rate of leaded gasoline and violent crime. The violent crime curve virtually tracks the lead exposure curve with a 22-year time lag. The Herald of Free Enterprise not closing the bow door. 193 drowned. Friend was having a beer in a tavern. Some guys came in and started messing with my friend. He moved seats twice and then got up to leave when one of the guys threw a punch. My friend threw one punch back and the guy he hit landed in the ICU and wasn't expected to live. Friend was sitting in jail just waiting for the guy he punched to either die or recover. Turns out the guy he punched recovered. Friend took a reduced charge of aggravated assault. A felony. One punch. Some homeopathic medicine for babies still contained deadly amounts of belladonna. Some babies died. Apparently, they did not dilute it as extremely as they were supposed to in homeopathy. As a healthcare worker, giving the wrong amount of insulin. Theric 25. The world's deadliest software error. Cost several radiation patients their lives by administering lethal amounts of radiation, and for a while, the doctors didn't even know.